Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is another trading recap from Friday, August 14th. All right. I don't always recommend trading on a Friday, right? I'll be the last person to ever tell you look for targets on Fridays. But I was only able to get two trades this week prior to Friday because of my busy schedule this last week. So I did want to get into the markets this morning, look for a potential opportunity, and capitalize if I was presented my opportunity, right? So I'm gonna dive right into it. I'm gonna show you guys how much I made on Friday this week, all right? I did de-risk. I did take some of the risk off the table. Again, like I said, I never recommend trading on Fridays. Usually Fridays will never have any type of big moves or anything like that because it's the end of the week, right? Traders and investors, they're really just looking to close off the week on an easy note. They're not looking for much volatility. They're not really looking for too much movement in the market regardless, right? So what I was looking for is something very small, very fast, and de-risked so I can enjoy the rest of my weekend, right? The last thing you want to do is over leverage on a Friday, get stuck in some type of accumulation or barcoding price action, and then be sick to your stomach for the rest of the weekend because you knew you shouldn't have even bothered taking a trade on a Friday and ended up losing in the long run, right? So if you are going to look for trades on Fridays, always remember to de-risk and don't look for anything too big, all right? My trade this morning was only about 11 points and I only took 2 contracts on it. Normally I take 3 to 5 contracts per trade. Today I only took about 2 contracts and it was very clean and simple. I waited, sat on my hands. I was very patient in today's market because again, if I didn't catch anything, I didn't catch anything. You know, I wasn't really worried about catching something. If it presented itself to me, I executed on delivery, but that was it. If I never got my delivery, I was not taking an execution. Simple and straightforward, right? So first and foremost, today I made $776. Okay, so on the week, like I said, I only took 3 trades, including this trade today, this week, and that puts me at 3221 on the week. Okay, and on the month, it is the 14th of the month, so we're about halfway through. That puts me at 7,000, just under 7,500. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna explain to you guys my exact thought process, why I executed, why I was so patient in today's market, and why I exited when I exited. All right, so let's dive right into it. Like I always do, I open the charts up around 8:30 and just look to see what kind of candle printing we are receiving leading into market open, right? At the end of pre-market will open around 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and it'll go until about 9 o'clock when New York investors start looking for opportunities. The macro does open at 10 o'clock, right? So that's when big institutions, big companies, big hedge funders, that's when they like to look for their moves and place their orders for the day, okay? So again, we're staying very patient. We just want to see what price is giving us, right? So right now I'm on the 5-minute chart and I'm really just looking to see what kind of opening that we could see, right? There wasn't any news this morning, so I wasn't really looking for anything too volatile, you know, like I was kind of expecting a little bit of a barcode at open. We did get a little bit of a pump, right? Sweeping out some previous highs. All we really have is Asia and London lows from previous sessions and then New York high from yesterday. So I really wasn't looking for anything down here, to be honest with you. If I was going to take a short, it was really just going to be somewhere in this ballpark to keep it simple. You know, I didn't want to, like I said, I don't want to leave trades open for the weekend. I don't want to look for anything too drastic, too volatile. I'm not looking to make a monthly salary on a Friday, right? If we get something presented, great. If not, it costs me nothing to take no trade, right? So right now it's about 10 o'clock, right? So the macro finally opened. I did want to end up dumping into the 1 minute chart just to look for any type of potential opportunities now that the macro is open, now that the big dogs are coming to play, right? So what is the first thing I noticed? I did notice this 1 minute fair value gap forming here. So I just marked it out, and I just wanted to keep an eye on it, right? All I did was want to keep an eye on this, see what price did when it revisited this zone, if it rejected or swept through it, and maybe potentially target New York highs from yesterday, or so on and so forth, right? So what does that leave us? That left us another 1 minute gap, right? So when you have multiple fair value gaps stacked up, it's kind of tricky taking a trade, right? Because essentially what fair value gaps are imbalance in price. And usually when you get a bunch of them stacked up and you get price stuck in between 2 to 3 fair value gaps, it's very hard to see any type of movement from there. Usually the price will end up just bouncing back and forth, up and down throughout these zones until sellers or buyers give up, and sellers or buyers end up taking over into the market and pushing price in the direction that they want to go. So again, I'm staying very patient. I just want to see how price reacts and responds to these zones. And like I said, we're getting some barcode action. We're bouncing back and forth through these fair value gaps. So I'm just really looking for a little bit of a liquidity sweep. I'm looking for some kind of manipulation from the market, trying to get sellers or buyers in the wrong way, so institutions could get in and rinse them out and push price in the direction that they actually want it to go, right? So again, we're still kind of stuck. We did get an inversion to the downside, okay? So that's going to be my first indication that price does want to move lower, but we still haven't swept any of these highs. So I'm really looking for a big manipulation or a clear indication of manipulation that indices are going to push price higher up just to get retail traders tricked out and in the market prematurely, so they could go and place all their opposing orders to the opposite way, right? So here we are, we get the sweep. This is all I needed for this sweep. Why? Because we just took out this previous high. We took out this previous high after filling the 1 minute bearish fair value gap, right? And now we're rejecting off of this bearish order block, right? It's a very small bearish order block. I'll mark it out for you guys so you guys can take a better look at it, right? That's all we were looking at right there. That's the little small bearish order block that I wanted to see get revisited, sweeping these previous highs and then rejecting to continue lower. Again, we did inverse this fair value gap. We never inversed the initial fair value gap. So what does that indicate to me? There is a ton of resistance in this zone right here and not much support down here, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna actually mark out all of these lows and just keep an eye on them, because maybe those are most likely what I'm looking to target moving forward for the session, and even potentially getting into some of these pre-market lows that were created right before market opened at 9:30 this morning, right? So now all we're really doing is we're looking for some type of direction where price is calling our names and screaming at us to hop in and enter into a trade, right? And honestly, that's exactly what we got. We got this nice inversion of both of these fair value gaps that were just formed on this manipulation leg up. And what did I do? I took an entry right on that retest of that 1 minute fair value gap, right? So I'll delete these so it's a little bit easier for you to see, right? So these are the fair value gaps I'm looking at as we speak. Okay, so you have these two stacked up, right? What did we do? We came down and swept through both of them in one shot, right? So now what I'm looking for is a little bit of retracement to balance out this big bearish candle, and that's where I took my entry. As soon as that candle closed, I took a stab and I entered short. This was gonna be my break-even point, so let me mark that out for you guys. This is my take profit 1. And this is my final take profit at pre-market lows. Again, I was only targeting 11.5 points. I really wasn't targeting anything too crazy. Yes, I could have possibly wanted some of these lows down here, but again, it's Friday. I'm not expecting anything too crazy. I'm not expecting big moves. I want to get in and out. I don't want to be in moves for too long. I don't want to be in a trade all day. I definitely don't want it to last through lunch. By any means necessary, get in and get out as soon as you can, as fast as you possibly can. All right, so now that we're in, all I'm looking for is some type of rejection from that retracement, and that's exactly what we get, right? So now, beautiful, we've been in this trade 4 minutes and we're already at break even. I moved my stops to break even to take all my risk off the table, and now all I'm waiting for is for these 2 lows to get tapped into so I can close on my positions, right? Again, it's only 10:36. I've only been in this trade about 5-10 minutes, not even, right? So if I'm on the 1 minute candle, I entered at this close. I've been in this trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, and I'm already break even. All right, this is my line of defense moving forward. This nice bearish fair value gap that was formed, it did get retested and rejected out of. So now I'm feeling even better that I took all my risk off the table. I feel as if I'm going to make some profit today. I'm going to have a very nice Friday morning and lead into a very nice, enjoyable weekend. All right, and as you can see, not too much longer later, we get very good displacement lower. I'm able to close out one of my 2 positions at take profit 1 and let the rest run. All right, and not much longer, by 10:47, I was fully out of this trade and I was up $776 on the day. I'm able to now go enjoy the rest of my evening or my morning, go to the gym, go get some lunch, go meet up with some business partners, go over some new ideas, go over some topics that we wanted to discuss moving forward for following weeks, whatever the case may be, right? I'm able to go enjoy my life without feeling tied down to anything, really. The money was already in my brokerage account as soon as I closed my trade, and I didn't have to wait for a paycheck to clear. I didn't have to wait for anything, essentially. I made my own decision. I took my own risk, and I capitalized off of it. And this is exactly what I'm here to teach you guys to do, to take risks on yourself. Because if you don't take risks on yourself, nobody's gonna do it for you, right? And if you're miserable at a job, you and I were in the same boat, you know what I mean? Like, I was working for places that did not appreciate the man I was, the kind of employee I was, the type of intellect I am, you know what I mean? So once I finally, I want to say mastered, because at this point I did master the skill of day trading, right? I was able to teach myself a high-paying skill that only 1% of the entire population is successful in, and all I look to do is relay that message and make it just a little bit easier for you guys to understand, right? So like I said, in 10-15 minutes, I was able to make $776 from 2 contracts this morning, and I didn't have to worry about anything else for the rest of the weekend. Now I close my laptops, I go on with my day, and I don't have to even think about trading until Monday morning, right? I have my entire weekend lined up right in front of me where I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to plan essentially for the next week of work. Yes, am I planning for work? Yes, but it's not something I'm miserable doing. This is something I find enjoyment in. This is what sharpens my sword, and sometimes you'll catch me just looking at charts, just studying candlesticks and studying patterns and studying reactions and volatility throughout the day on random days, right? Because again, like I said, this is something I find passion in. This is something I enjoy, and this is something I've been doing for 6 years already. So quite frankly, there's always ways to improve. Nobody's perfect. I'll never be the one to tell anybody that I know more than anybody else. I've just been doing this a bit longer than most people, and that's why I feel like I'm in a position to help you guys moving forward, right? I help out all my friends personally. I help out my family when it comes to investments. I've been an investor for half my life at this point. I'm only 26 years old, and investments have always been a big factor in my life. It was always that initial indicator to beat the rat race, and that's all I've ever wanted to do in this world. I knew God had a very big purpose for me, and sometimes it does take a little while to come to find what your purpose is in this world, but everybody has one, and you're never really gonna feel content with yourself until you're living out your purpose. You know what I mean? So if I'm touching anybody's heart with that, just know I feel for you. I was there, I was in your shoes, and you got this, man. Like, nothing is holding you back from becoming who you want to be in this world. There's not a single soul that could tell you what you can or can't do other than yourself, So if you tell yourself, like, look, I'm gonna go through this, yes, I'm gonna struggle, yes, I'm gonna suffer, but I'm gonna make it out the other side, because I'm gonna make it my point to prove all the non-believers, all the naysayers wrong, because they counted against me. They bet against me and they told me I couldn't do it, and that's exactly why I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I want it for myself, but I also want to see the looks on their faces once I make it happen. You know what I mean? So, like, I always tell people, never bet against anybody. You never know what somebody is capable of in this world. You never understand what people have going on in their personal lives, and you just got to show everybody respect. I show everybody my genuine side, my genuine self. I'm never rude to anybody, unless they have it coming, unless they did something to me first. But I'm very genuine, I like to help out. I'll never look down on you, you know what I mean? No matter what position you're in, no matter what situation you're in, no matter your financial standpoint, what you do for a living. I don't care if you work at McDonald's, bro. I don't. I'm probably gonna give you a tip just because you helped me out, like, you're doing me a favor by serving me. So why am I going to be an asshole or think I'm better than the next man? I'm no better than anybody. I just made it a point to make my life better and to do whatever the hell it took to get there, like, no matter what life threw my way, I made it happen, like, no matter what my emotions were at the time, no matter how I felt, no matter if I was tired, exhausted, hurt, in pain, it didn't matter, like, I got to work, I nut up and shut up, like, I put my big boy pants on, I took myself to work, and I studied this until it made sense, you know what I mean? And there's still times in my journey where it doesn't really make all that much sense, and those are the days where I just stay out of the market. Like, I don't mind missing out on days not taking a trade, because it costs me nothing to miss an opportunity on the markets. Why? Because the markets are always going to present me another opportunity, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, whatever the case is, man. Like, that's why there's so much beauty in what day trading is. It's freedom, you know what I mean? And I don't want to say that in like a bad way where you guys feel like this is the only way I can make it, this is the only way I can make money. Like, no, you can make money with whatever you want to do, whether it's playing video games, you want to go, make content, go make content, go play video games, you know what I mean? Like, go study something that could change the world, like, I'm all for anything that floats your boat. I'm all for doing what you find passion in, what fuels you to keep going forward, no matter how you're feeling. Whatever that is, whatever keeps you up at night, go for it, 100%. Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Don't be looking back to your former selves. You know what it took to get yourself to where you're at today, right? You might not know exactly what it's going to take to get you where you want to go in the future, but that's what people, like-minded individuals, are there for. Find your people. Find the people that agree with you on most aspects. Find the people who think like you do, you know? Like if you know you were destined for more than a random 9 to 5 that 99% of people do, which again, there's nothing wrong with, right? We don't look down on anybody unless we're willing to help them up. Always keep that in mind. I'll never look down on anybody. I'll never talk down to anybody. If anything, I always want to uplift everybody around me, especially the people dearest to me. You know, I always want what's best for everybody, whether it's in day trading or DJing or performing, whatever the case may be, whatever my friends and family loves to do, I'm their number one supporter, and I'll always be their number one supporter. Like none of the people around me will ever have to look themselves in the mirror and question if I'm supporting what they do. It could be something completely different from what I do. It doesn't matter to me. All I care about is seeing the people in my life happy and striving towards the life that they've always wanted, right? Because it's right there. It's attainable, it's achievable. You just got to keep going. You know, life's going to throw you hardships. Life's going to knock you down, 8 times. Just get up 9. That's all you got to do. Just keep pushing forward, keep striving for better, and just continue growing, man. Education doesn't have to stop when you graduate. Honestly, I've learned more since graduating than all the years I was in school, and I'm not bashing school. Stay in school, study, get good grades, do what you gotta do. But school isn't where education ends. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays especially feel like they don't necessarily have to continue learning after school. And I'll never agree with that, because what school teaches you versus what the real world teaches you, it just doesn't go hand in hand for the most part, you know what I mean? Unless you played sports. If you played sports growing up, I praise you. I had a great coach, and he's still in my life to this day. I consider him my first ever mentor for life. He's the one that really helped me grow into the man you see today. No matter how hard or tough I was on him growing up, I put that man through hell, and I owe him my life at this point, you know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know what I'd be doing, but it definitely would not be talking to you guys and educating you guys on how to become better day traders, you know what I mean? So I give that man my life. I give him everything. I praise him every single day, because if it wasn't for the people around me, things wouldn't have gone the way they did, And yes, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of things that I went through internally by myself that nobody heard of. I never talked to anybody about certain things, and there were certain times where I had to get myself out of that tunnel, make it through that other side, because there's always light shining for you, waiting on that other side of that tunnel for you, right over the other side of that objection, that obstacle, whatever the case may be. Your life is right there in front of you, and it's right in arm's reach. You just got to go get it. All right. So I hope this was informational for you guys. I hope this helps you guys moving forward. If you guys want, I would love to interact with you guys a little bit more. If you guys want to leave me comments, or if you wanted a little bit more private, please DM me. Ask me all the questions you want. Let's get to know each other a little bit. I love you guys. Like, you guys are literally my support system when it comes to what I'm trying to build here. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing this 2 weeks, and we've already surpassed over 130 subs. Like, that's crazy to me. I never thought I would experience this much growth so early on. So I do appreciate you guys more than anything in this world. I love you all. If you guys need anything from me, I'll leave my Instagram handle in the description below. Please feel free to follow me. Feel free to DM me, whatever the case may be. Let's connect. Let's get it going, and let's make it happen together. All right. I love you guys. Till next time. Peace.